Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. I guess Mr. Z is gonna go. Are we calling it old school? It's only been a few months since I started putting videos up and stuff. We'll memes and videos up while I'm speaking. We'll see if I do that this stream. Maybe not. But okay. For those of you who were able to check out the link in the description box, shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the replay gang. We're gonna shout y'all out early today. I know this was short notice, so I guess we are kind of going old school, even though it's been a few months. This is short notice, and Khadijah didn't spend too much time speaking on this, but Mr. Z is long-winded, so for Mr. Z, we're gonna turn Khadijah's 14 minutes into like an hour and some on, because of course we are. Okay. So Khadijah and Bo, shout out to Khadijah. Khadijah might be one of the less toxic women in that kind of cornbread tube space. Shout out to Khadijah. Khadijah covers the conversation. She's a bit late, but she covers the conversation about Doechii and Doechii saying straight men are the red flag, or red flag are straight men. Now, for to be a bit more open, Mr. Z was not offended by what Doechii said. Was it annoying? Yes. Was another jab at men, probably namely black men, because Doechii is black? Yes. Was Mr. Z offended? Yes. Was Mr. Z bothered? Why? Because Mr. Z expects anytime you put a microphone in front of a black woman's face, and it has anything to do about sex, gender, relationships, intimacy, any of that, oh, you better believe the dissing, the sneak dissing, the jabs, the misandry, oh, it's coming. Huh? Oh, you better believe it. Remember, these are the same women that say, anytime black men are so antagonistic, they're so antagonistic. Anytime you put a microphone in front of these women's faces, oh, a black woman's face, you put a microphone in front of a black woman's face, and she is asked anything about manhood, masculinity, about relationships, about her dating life, sex life. Oh, you better believe she is going to say something misandrous about black men. Oh, you better believe it. Right? So, Mr. Z wasn't surprised by what Doechii said. I already knew better yet about her sexuality. She is from my state, Florida. So there's that. Okay, with that said, let's say this to Khadijah. Khadijah, we don't care nothing about what Doechii talking about. Nobody's offended that Doechii is queer and Doechii would rather date a queer man. Khadijah, take what you're saying, take that to the hair salon. Shout out to BGS who once said to FD, take what you're talking about to the barbershop. Mr. Z's going to turn around and remix that and say to Khadijah, take what you're saying and take it to the hair salon. Huh? Take what you're saying to the hair salon. Take that fruity in the booty. Yes, she did use that term. Take that to the hair salon and let's see what black women have to say about it. What any woman, for the most part, have to say about it. Huh? Khadijah goes on about how manhood doesn't seem fun. It doesn't seem like it's free. And yeah, I want to express this. Yes, manhood can be fun, but manhood comes with a lot of rules and structures, and men both like and dislike it, just like how femininity comes with, wait a minute, actually it doesn't. Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Z. Uh-oh. You forgot, Mr. Z. Yeah, Mr. Z did forget. Goddamn. Oh, well. Anyway, moving along. So, yes, manhood comes with rules and regulations. Yeah. Yes, you are right about that part, but the not fun? No, manhood can be fun, right? The kind of mocking that you did a little bit subtly, kind of, sort of, not so much. Yeah. No, manhood can be fun. Being a man can and is fun under certain circumstances. It's not meant to be fun all the time. And women wouldn't want it that way. That's why Mr. Z told you to take what you're talking about into the hair salon. Don't she need to take what she's talking about into the hair salon, into the black hair salon, into the hair salon in the hood? Huh? See, let's be very clear, Miss Khadijah. Let Mr. Z say something to you that you already know. Of course, black women are going to co-sign what Dochi is saying because they're jabbing at black men. But if you were to present them with the queer and the bisexual and the non-binary and pansexual men that you're talking about, if you put black women's back to the wall, if you put most women, regardless of race, back to the wall with these kind of open about their sexuality and their gender fluid and their gender bending, if you put women's back to the wall and gave them those guys to choose from, they're not choosing. Huh? They're not choosing, Miss Khadijah, and you know it. When we speak about manhood and masculinity and the pressures, we say quote unquote society and we say other men. We ask men to be real them, be authentic, look in the mirror. In other words, stop pretending like you're a man, you're not. You're a itch. So we charge men in this modern era with being softer until we actually see what that looks like. And then women's johnny dry right on up. What is Mr. Z saying? Those ladies don't mean nothing that they're talking about. Dochi may mean it. Khadijah may mean it. The vast majority of women, particularly black women, in the American context, and to be frank with y'all, as someone who's not ADOS, in the Caribbean context, they're not going. They're not going. If you present them with these gender bending, gender fluid, pansexual, bisexual, huh? If you present your average black woman with these type of men and say these are the men you have to choose from, they're not going. 9 out of 10 are not going. Anyone disagrees with Z on that one? And of course, Khadijah brings up liberation. Oh, Mr. Z gave the loudest sigh in the world when she brought up liberation. Black women in this goddamn liberation word. Huh? You're not liberated. You're not attempting to get liberation from the white man having your foot in the air. Ooh, goddamn, Z, what you saying? Ooh. Liberated from what exactly? From who exactly? From black men? Unfortunately for you, you have the same jersey color. There ain't no liberation from that. Ooh, goddamn. No matter how hard you try. Huh? Khadijah. Of course, Dochi is gonna get the applause and the claps and the snaps and the yeah girl and the you go girl from black women. But if you present 9 out of 10 black women with these quote unquote queer, once again, gender bending, gender fluid, non-binary, pansexual, right? Men, they're not going, and you know it. Huh? And you know it. Khadijah spent about 15 or so, it was 14 and some change, but 15 or so minutes. And it wasn't even a whole thing because she had to, get the advertisement in. 15 or so minutes speaking about Dochi and what Dochi said. And as Mr. Z said before, Mr. Z wasn't surprised by this. As I said before, if you let a black woman talk and you put a camera in front of her, you better believe if you ask her about manhood and masculinity and any of that, the misandry coming out, particularly directed towards black men, is going to happen. It's going to happen. Huh? So what Dochi said did not devastate Mr. Z. It didn't. Huh? Now put the vast majority of black women's back to the wall and present them with those type of gender bending, excuse fluid, huh? Daisies in their hair ass dudes and see how many black women actually mean it, are actually gonna go. Huh? Khadijah, that sounds nice. Dochi, of course, the black women are going to applaud you for that because black women don't ever miss an opportunity to defecate on black men, especially in public in front of the white folks that ain't going to do nothing with you. Ooh, goddamn. Huh? You better believe black women are applauding what Dochi said. Are they going to actually date those type of guys, marry those type of guys? Yeah, right. Huh? Khadijah mentions her hyper independence. Yeah, black women, y'all gonna have to eat that. And how the trauma of her hyper independence. She don't really need a man, and we could switch off. Khadijah, most women ain't going. They're not going. Mm, Khadijah, as a black man who is out here in the dating scene, dating black women, they don't mean half of what they say. They don't mean 90% of what they say. They not going. Huh? All that hyper independence is a defense mechanism. Huh? All that non-traditional, right? Modern woman thing, yeah, if we present you with the 6'3" tall white dude with the chisel chin, you'll fall right into that traditionalism. Oh, goddamn. And Miss Khadijah, maybe not you, but you know the vast majority of women of color will. We present you with a 6'3" tall, chisel chin white guy that earns a quarter million, $300,000 a year. Yeah, you gonna fall right into that traditional role. Ain't that right, Mr. Blasio? Goddamn. Now she out here free again, quote unquote free again. Yeah. But she ain't divorced Mr. de Blasio, now did she? Uh-oh. Huh? They're quote unquote separated, but she ain't divorced him, now did she? So much for that queerness. Huh? So much for that queerness. Wow. So bisexual black men in particular speak about how when they present to whatever woman, black woman, their sexuality and their sexual orientation, black women shun them. Black women are not interested in vast majority. And yet, Miss Khadijah, you are bringing up Dochi and why she said she doesn't date queer men and how you are even suspect of straight men. Look, you and Dochi could do whatever you like. As a matter of fact, if you don't know, Miss Khadijah, Mr. Z is about to be um taken on and sign a contract with the Rose Company because we're going to start selling roses to black women in particular, advertising the rose toy to black women, and along with that, Mr. Z is going to advertise to black women to engage in same-sex loving relationships. Mr. Z is all about telling black women to engage in same-sex loving relationships. If you didn't know, Miss Khadijah, with all of that sexism and misogyny black women like to spew, because Mr. Z know y'all don't mean it. Maybe you mean it, Miss Khadijah, but most black women don't. They're just angry little bitter trolls because they can't get the men they want to bow and kiss their ass. So just in case you didn't know, Miss Khadijah, Mr. Z is all about telling black women to explore their sexuality and never come back. Mr. Z is all about telling black women to get real comfortable with their rose toy, to engage in same-sex loving relationships, and to definitely go explore your sex life with non-black men who are never gonna marry you or make an honest woman out of you, or air quotes, an honest woman out of you.
Mario, Jorge, Cartwright, Shang Tsung. We got a thrift store of leftover bitches. They're leftover because apparently it ain't enough niggas is worth a damn. Whatever. Point is, they left over. We need you to come pick them up. No instruction manual. Figure it out. Sprinkle some white ice on it. Maybe, I've heard the white ice is colder. Sprinkle some white ice on it. It goes with everything. If you come within the next 24 hours, we'll give you a complimentary book on how to date black women for white men. That's a $4 value.
Huh? Miss Khadijah, 23% of young black women now identify as bisexual. Huh? 23%. This is the cost of black women sticking the middle finger up at black men and an anti-black world where the white guys, and shout out to Media Man, go pop that stuff, gonna throw black men under the bus, gonna try to get their viewership up by advocating for black women and pandering to black women, while the Latinos might engage in the same thing, maybe one or two Asian men might engage in the same thing, and they still don't marry or take serious relationship black women. Of course, black women are going to engage in same-sex loving relationships, primarily bisexual. You know what bisexual means? I can't get the type of man I want. Not to take me seriously anyway. That's what bisexual means for black women. Khadijah, do you really doubt me on that one? You think black women are bisexual because love is love and you can't help who you love and I'm just open to everyone? You think that's the real issue in an anti-black world? Or is it that black women are engaging in bisexual behavior because when the man is taking them seriously, then they're with the man. And when men are not taking them seriously, when black men aren't taking them seriously, then they're with a woman. How many of these women are cheating on their girlfriends with men, Khadijah? Mr. Z knows a couple of police officers. Hey, DV rate is serious in them same-sex loving women's homes, black women's homes. And you know what they're often arguing about and fighting about? One of them cheated on the other one with a man. More often than not, one of them cheated on the other one with a man. And it's not always the femme too, goddamn. Huh? Miss Khadijah, you live on the same planet Mr. Z lives on. You know what it is as much as Mr. Z knows what it is. Black women clapped it up for Doechii because Doechii was jabbing at black men, and black women ain't gonna never miss an opportunity to applaud. They don't care if the person is a goddamn alien. They don't care who it is. If you talking crap about black men, we there, and we applauding you. Huh? So Doechii says what she says, and the funniest thing in the world is black women who you know if you present them with a bunch of queer men, even physically attractive queer men, they not going. Black women who not going for no queer dudes, no gender bending, gender fluid, non-binary, pansexual guys. We're cheering Doechii on. Why? Because of course she jabbed at black men. She jabbed at men, straight men. Huh? Oh man. They're not going, Miss Khadijah. I would argue the majority of white women, same thing. Latina women definitely ain't going. They're not going. Huh? And vast majority, they're not going. So I hear you with the think piece, right? Feel piece. I hear you, but they're not going, Miss Khadijah, and you know this. Black women could talk all that crap all they want. What you presented here, you weren't necessarily antagonistic. Yeah, you took a couple of jabs, but let's be very clear. The pressure to quote unquote be masculine and be a man is not just from overall society and other men, it's women too. And vast majority. See, whenever it's time to critique women, we do this all encompassing thing. We'll mention men in a vacuum. We'll talk about society. Okay. But when it comes time to critique women in aggregate and their proclivities and their behavioral patterns, when we might have to say something that's not flattering, all of a sudden we start to talk about society again. Wait a minute. We just critiqued the men. Okay. We just critique quote unquote society. But nobody got anything to say about the women and their toxicity. Oh yeah, I forgot we can't do that. That's sexist. Yeah, you're right. Huh? Oh boy. Huh? And let's read this one first, and let's read this one now. And Vic says, for them, cardio is cardio regardless of gender. Oh boy. As long as they're getting that exercise in, it doesn't matter who's exercising them out. Yeah. Huh? And then there's the hypocrisy of it all. Going to what you're saying, Vic, then there's the hypocrisy of it all. How many women, black women in particular, have engaged in some of this activity? Huh? Brunch and munch with their girlfriends, maybe literal girlfriends, but they would never, ever, 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 ever entertain a man, definitely not a black man, who's engaged in some of the same type of activity with another man. God forbid your air quotes bottom. Huh? Oh boy. Going to what you're saying, Vic, the hypocrisy of it all. Mr. Z is not saying anything Khadijah doesn't already know. We we have decided as a community, number one, and as a society, number two. That's why them young men are not listening to nothing y'all gotta say. We have decided that when we critique men in a vacuum. And we don't spare their feelings. Your feelings are there to be rolled over, backed up, rolled over again, backed up, rolled over again. Women, on the other hand, see, about that. Can we talk about society now? Can we talk about the environment? Can we go back to talk about men and their issues and problems? Huh? Oh boy. Huh? And Trell says, oh, so you doing the bending. Look, black women are engaging in, I guess, air quotes, the bending and the bending over for each other. Ooh, goddamn. Huh? Ah, Vince, I ain't gonna even read that out loud. That's hysterical, and I know and appreciate the reference. That is hysterical, huh? And Vic says, if you've seen a black woman slap another black woman's butt press like hysterical. Talking about that. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Huh? Wow. So, to be fair, Khadijah did speak about, you know, her issue with manhood and masculinity and how it presents, and how she kind of doesn't trust heterosexual men. And I say that's fine and that's cool, and I'm reading through your comments, and this lets you, and this is why Mr. Z's title is what it is. The Outliers talking again. Y'all doing way too much talking. Ooh, y'all Outliers are doing way too much talking. In the comments was someone who said, yeah, I'm surprised that, I think it was a comment under a comment actually. And the person said, yeah, I'm surprised that how many women want traditionally masculine men. I'm always surprised. What world are you living on? What world are you in? You definitely can't be on Earth 656. You can't be on Earth 606. You can't be on Earth 723. You can't be on that Earth, on those Earths. Huh? You're surprised? You're always surprised at how many women, because the way their femininity works, let's be clear. Let Mr. Z make sure we say this clearly. Because the way these women's femininity works, these women that we're referencing, they cannot date, take seriously, marry a man that they see in their mind, they see as moving around in the world the way they do. Getting piped by a dude. Goddamn, Z. Ooh, you wasn't supposed to say that part, though. You ain't have to go into detail, Z. You ain't have to go into detail. Huh? Revelon says Earth 616. Sherelle Bentley says Earth Prime. Right? Oh, man. Better You says it's a crisis of on infinite Earths. Right? When Mr. Z read that comment, I was like, wait, what? And they mean that. Huh? And they mean that. The Outliers stay in their bubbles. And I think Khadijah even actually spoke to that a bit. They stay in their bubbles. And it's something that Ole said after Trump was elected. And it kind of spoke to that and Mr. Z's paraphrasing has been, some months now, but these people stay in their bubbles and their echo chambers. And y'all, I actually have to cover this again. The algorithms and the online algorithms and how they give you this cocoon that you could kind of live in, and you don't challenge your beliefs and your thought process, and you don't consider what the other is saying or the opposing view, and you take for granted this echo chamber that you're in. Huh? You take for granted the echo chamber that you're in. And I would argue for many kind of LGBTQ black women in particular, y'all take for granted that bubble that you're in. And you assume that you're on the right side of history. And you also assume that if people do the appropriate reading, research, engage with certain ideas, that there's no way that they could still reject it. Huh? That the problem is a lack of knowledge and there's ignorance there, right? And people just haven't engaged with the appropriate materials and read the right books and know the right quotes and the authors and right Audre Lorde and Bell Hooks and Yawn. Huh? Oh boy. And once you read this book, then you'll understand what I'm saying. Have you ever read this book? Huh? No. If we Infinity Stone, Thanos snap a world where the men and majority with these gender bending, queer, non binary men, do you understand that the women would be screaming? The women would be screaming. Khadijah and your subscribers, maybe y'all won't. The vast majority, Mr. Z suspects somewhere around 85-ish% to 90, would be screaming. They're not going, Miss Khadijah, and you know this. So Dochi could say what she want. All these black women who they only align with her because she was jabbing at black men, they could say what they want. But if Mr. Z presents them, even with the 6'1" tall man with the chisel chin and good looks, if they suspect that he's bending over for another dude, they're not going. Huh? Oh man. I gotta read this one. And I'm gonna read the super chats in a minute. And Jake says, I seen a black woman comment on TikTok that gay black men are the real men. You know, Khadijah didn't go there with it. She kind of implied, and no, she actually said this. Oh, here we go. It looks like it's easy, and so I think so. Many of the comments in her comment section kind of alluded to this too. That heterosexuality, you're not challenging the norm. Why does it always have to be a challenge? Challenge, huh? Why does it always have to be a? You're not challenging the norm. You're just going along. Wait, so getting bent over isn't? Wait, let me get this right. Especially for black people, let me get this right for black men. Black men that live on a planet with white men. Let's get that. Let's be clear what y'all saying. Let's not just talk about this in a vacuum. Black men who live on a planet with hegemonic white rule on planet Earth right now is currently being challenged, but with white male rule on planet Earth right now. You saying that you're the threat and that you're the challenge, and that the black men are taking the straight black men, excuse me, are taking the easy way. Let's sit with that for a moment. The straight black men, huh? The ones who are disciplined, the ones who take seriously their manhood and masculinity, and yes, their quote unquote gender performance. They're not challenging the system and the status quo. LGBTQ, non-binary, queer black men in a white heterosexual male rule planet. Y'all are the ones who are challenging the status quo, not the straight black men. Okay, yeah, that's it. I want you to understand, we're not talking about James Baldwin here. We're talking about people with daisies in their hair thinking they're challenging white hegemonic rule on planet Earth. They're challenging white masculinity because they're walking around here in flower dresses. Huh? Shout out to the Latinas. We're colonizing them back. Okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah, because yeah, that's the real challenge. Huh? Pastor say that again. Saucy Santana is challenging what exactly? And I want to be very clear. This is not some anti-LGBTQ rant. We're not even on that. Quite frankly, I don't care what y'all do with your gender and with your with your genitals and that's none of Mr. Z's concern. But when you bring that conversation into the public arena and it becomes part of public discourse, then it is there for the rest of us to critique. Huh? It is there for the rest of us to critique. And Pastor, that actually is a really good question. And for any one of those folks who are listening in, that's a really good question. And for whatever random person it was in Khadijah's comments, and I think Khadijah said that too, but I can't recall, the idea that being a heterosexual man, particularly heterosexual black man, we'll say, it seems easy. You're not challenging anything. You're just going along to get along. And the LGBTQ lifestyle, right? That's challenging white heteronormativity? Huh? Heteronormative? That's challenging white masculinity? Let me say this. I said this forever ago. Let me say this again. Men of color being LGBTQ does not challenge white manhood whatsoever at all, period. It's a joke to them. It's funny. You know what's funnier than a tall, chisel LGBTQ white man? A tall, chisel LGBTQ black man. God forbid he's dark skinned. You're not challenging anything. You could beat the man in a goddamn fight. You still ain't challenging nothing. You're not challenging anything. So whoever it was in Khadijah's comments that made that comment, what are you talking about? Because being heterosexual is easy. I wonder what's easier, being on a planet post white colonialism when white men still pretty much rule the world. It's being challenged currently. They pretty much lost it, but okay, let's see. Being on a planet with white male rulership as a man of color, as a black man, and being heterosexual and presenting that way and speaking that way and moving that way, is that more of a challenge, or is being on a planet post white male rulership and being a LGBTQ black man who's gender bending. Huh? Let's be clear. Not a white man who's gender bending. Not a white man who's publicly gender bending. Not a white man who women find attractive that's gender bending. No, a black man gender bending on a planet where white men run it. Yeah, that's the thing that's challenging, right? Okay, yeah, that's it. Huh? Black women are not going. Doshi could say what she want. Other black women, including the one Mr. Z is not. I want you to be clear. Mr. Z is also speaking about 20 some odd year olds. They're not going. Huh? When you present, and this is why Mr. Z said, if y'all really mean what y'all say, y'all don't. If y'all really mean what y'all say about this equality and gender fluidity and whatever, you have to socialize the women different. The shaming of the men, the mocking men, the insulting men, the waving your finger at men, wagging your finger at men, y'all reach the market cap of that. You have to socialize the women differently. The men are not budging no more. You have to socialize the women differently. Huh? The women are not going, Miss Khadija. The masses of women, Miss Khadija, take what you're talking about into a hair salon in any hood in America. I know you're not in America. I know you're in Canada. Take what you're talking about in any hair salon, black hair salon in any hood in America. I would argue probably any hood in Canada too. Mr. Z was about to say Canada. Canada too. Canada. We'll just say it. F it. We'll do it live. Um, take what you're talking about to any hair salon in the black diaspora and see how many black women are going. The Caribbean, North America, any predominantly black hair salon in Europe, in Africa, uh, maybe a couple of African sisters who's trying to move to the West, they might go, they might sign up for it. They might sign up for it. Particularly if it's a white man. If it's a white man who's gender fluid and gender bending and bisexual and pansexual and you know experiments with his gender, an African system, maybe even a Caribbean system, they'll go, maybe them because they try to get to the West. Just about anybody else, nope. Huh? Just about anyone else, nope. Huh? And Victor Creed says, and thank you for the super chat. Wait, do they expect one of the girlies to fight white supremacy, or they gonna provide, protect, and shut up? Good luck, chap. You gonna need it. Look, I don't. Maybe we're speaking about people that they found their little comfortable space in white supremacy, where they challenge this kind of sexual element of it, at least in their minds, and that's about good enough. We don't speak about the economics. We don't speak about power. We don't speak about, you know, the alphabet boys, talk about alphabets, the alphabet boys and their clandestine, underhanded, right, apparatus. We don't speak about any of that. We don't speak about counterinsurgency. Ooh, Z, what are you saying? Huh? We don't speak about who could possibly be an agent. And to be frank with you, let Mr. Z say it. These people are so out there. I don't even know if they really need to be paid to be an agent. They're so out there. Mr. Z is saying that some of these people, these are their true beliefs. The alphabet boys don't have to do nothing to them. Huh? Now we found out from the Kamala, kind of some of the documents that's coming about Kamala's campaign, how many people were being paid to sneak in some Kamala advertisement. Um, and we talk about content creators here, right? So we know that these people will, the alphabet boys will chip off these people to speak a certain way, right? With that, Mr. Z, you'll say this. I think the Khadijahs of the world are true believers. Many of her comment section are not. Some of them are really true believers too. Not all of them. Many of them are just there to snicker and laugh at black men in particular having their quote unquote manhood stripped away. Now, there's a whole different conversation to have, when we include Dr. Tommy Curry's book, The Man Not, and what black manhood actually looks like. Is that real thing? That's a different conversation. But when we speak about black women in particular, but women in general, kind of snickering at what Dochi said, what's a red flag for you? Oh, a straight man. When you present the women with everything but a straight man, they're not going. They're not. Huh? And to hear Khadijah speak, it's as if you're in the Twilight Zone. Like Mr. Z said, what planet are y'all on? Who said it? Telescope? Y'all not on Earth Prime. There's no way. What was it? No, no, no. That was Trill that said that. Y'all not on Earth Prime. There's no way y'all on Earth Prime. And once again, Vic, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Huh? Oh boy. Trill said 616. Revelot said 616. No, Earth, yeah, there was Trill that said Earth Prime, yeah. Right. I'm not going to go too far in on Khadijah because and Mrs. Z realized what he said. I get it. I get it. But she's not the worst. If there's levels to hell, we definitely not in the deep darkest, deepest, lowest goddamn Z, all these innuendos, I know, parts of hell. We're not. Right? There's way worse than this. With that, Miss Khadijah, the women ain't going. And you know they're not. And you know they're not. Huh? We could present black women with these type of guys and they're not going. And there's something to be said. Huh. Let's say this. You know, I would argue that there are black women who have non-black friends and associates, and they might have tried to do their best version of white femininity and failed gloriously because of course you are. And then they categorically reject femininity or they see it as a sliding scale. I'll be masculine today, then I'll be feminine tomorrow, and then I'll be the next day I'll be kind of like all over the place, and the next day I just should to turn it off and on, and I could put it on and off like a dress. You know, there are certain folks that when you Google them and you click on images, and you'll be like, you know what? Yeah, there was a time. Yeah, you look kind of cute here. Yeah, when you had the braids and you had the faux locks in. Yeah, no, all right. I'll pipe. But yeah, okay. And then you just slowly watch that person transition into not being so appealing, right? And the picker ain't picking that, we'll say. And Mr. Z ponders, how did we get from that image with the faux locks and the long braids? How do we get from that to where we are now? Huh? Some of you are reading between the lines and you think you know what Mr. Z is saying, and I'm not saying you are wrong. I would just say Google the name, click images, and see if all of those pictures are unappealing. Some of them are like, okay, that's all right, I see you. And then what happened? Huh? And then what happened? Huh? I read Trill's comment, right? Oh man. And Black River says, if a black male entertainer said half of his fan base are quote unquote red flags, what would black women attempt to do to his career? Oh, it'd be over. It would be shredded. It would be shredded. But in our society, this is the cosmic get back, the cosmic retribution, cosmic get back, cosmic retribution that white men in this society, elite rich white men, put the thumb on the scales for this type of worldview. There's this idea that women in general, individual women, can't actually say anything offensive enough. She can't be sexist enough. She can't be misandrous enough, because this is the get back for quote unquote male rulership on planet Earth for ages. Mr. Z is not joking. Well, I kind of am joking, but I'm not joking when I say, because some Middle Eastern guy backhanded his wife 3,000 years ago somewhere in the Middle East in BFE nowhere. All men got to feel that, especially black. It's cosmic get back forever. You told Harpo to beat me because the color purple dictates that it's cosmic get back and retribution on black men forever because of a movie's depiction of what, the 1930s, I think, 1920s, something like that, 1910s, something around there, right? Huh? Vince says she looked like pressure. I'm saying, Vince, like, some of those pictures, you're like, okay, I see you, all right, huh? And then you look at the other ones, you're like, but what happened? Like, yeah, we all aged. That's not it. Like, are you attempting to, like, quote unquote uglify yourself? Like, what's going on here? Goddamn, Vince, you said the same thing. We said it at the same time. We said it at the same time. We said it at the same time, Vince. That's hysterical, right? Oh man. Huh? We can't say it's skin tone, so y'all can Miss Z with the colorism talk. Huh? Something is going on where it's okay to say things and low key advocate for things that you really don't mean, just to get a couple of points and a couple of hits on black men. Mr. Z thinks Khadijah really means it. No, her, I think she really means it. Some of her comment section, I think they really mean it. All of her comment section, absolutely not. They just there to see someone say something about black men that they think is funny. But if you were to present them with the exact same black men that Khadijah is talking about, they not going. Huh? They're not. Huh. Somebody, what was the other comment here? Let me see. And Detroit says, I didn't read Detroit's comment earlier. And thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Detroit says, Man of Twinkies says otherwise. Why did I read this out loud? Oh, man, Detroit. Huh? And T Rex says, and let me read this one also. And T Rex says, and thank you for the super chat. Z, them Negroes ain't read what's this Reacher yet. LOL. No, but for it, that is the way they speak. You haven't read this yet. You read this book, right? You know such and such said in this book, right? Chapter 2, like we reading a goddamn Bible verse. Chapter 2, verse what? What? Huh? And it is a logical fallacy, but cool. It The issue is you don't appreciate, as Dr. Richard Reeve would say, preferences and revealed preferences. And this is what Olay was saying this to you, Khadijah, on the stream, and Olay wasn't even saying anything that I would argue you don't already know. These women are popping all that crap, and they seem far more open and experimental than they actually are because of their own femininity. Now, this don't have much to do with the men. Your average woman, your average black woman, if you present them with these non-binary, queer, gender bending, gender fluid, pansexual, bisexual men, particularly black men, they're not going. Particularly average looking men, a little bit above average, a little bit below average, they're not going. They're not. They're not signing up for that. They're not. And I'm only saying to you, Miss Khadijah, what you and I already know. You already know this. Huh? I'm not saying anything to you that you'd already know. Huh? Let me see, son. Vince, where's that comment? I'm not even gonna read that comment. This one. And Vince says she gonna have an epiphany one day. In a weird way, I'm of two minds on this because I agree with you, but a part of me, this is the simp part of me, Mr. Z. Did you really say that? Mr. Z said it. The simp part of me says, low key, I hope she doesn't because that's gonna hurt. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Oh, that's gonna hurt like a mug. Oh, Vince, you better believe. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Huh? because there was talks of like um hyper independence, the trauma of hyper independence, and there are a number of black women in particular going through this. You're hearing more and more women, black women in particular, mention hyper independence. Yeah, because y'all the ones who signed up for it. You let white women, you didn't let white women, you went along gleefully sell you on this. Meanwhile, white women turned around in majority and married white men on y'all ass. And they left y'all out there with your quote unquote independence. And now y'all are feeling what that cost you, particularly when you're doing well in life financially. Because when you're doing well in life financially, there's nothing left except for the man. That's the only thing you missing. Huh? That's why FD said to T Noir, Mr. Z, gotta find it and clip it. That's why FD said to T Noir, these women, they have the car and they have the house and they have the job, and right? And the only thing they're missing is the man. And how am I supposed to tell them that's patriarchy? As a straight man, how am I supposed to say that to them? And T Noir looked at FD Signifier and said, and how am I supposed to say it as a queer woman? Exactly. Huh? Yeah, no, Vince, I remember. And Vince says, remember that I mentioned the female version of John Henryism yesterday? Yeah. And their version of John Henryism is to try to prove that they don't need no man. And how exactly has that been working for black women? I don't know, for the past half millennia. Longer. Huh? How exactly has that been working for the masses of black women?
A few moments later.
Huh? It hasn't been working. It's not going to work. And we're here now. Now y'all talking about gender bending and gender fluid. Man, if you present the majority of black women with Frank Ocean, huh? They're not going. And Frank Ocean might know how to fight. He might be quote unquote masculine, but the second they wait a minute, you bent over for another man? I mean, do you do this regularly? They was out of it once they found out that. But then the questions, they're not going. Khadijah, they're not going. And you know it. And you know it. Huh? All that sound nice. But grown ass women, they're not going. They're not going for any man rocking skirts, not kilts, and you get a pass because of nope, they're not going. Huh? So I just wanted to present this to y'all. We ain't gonna be here too long. Um, Khadijah only spent about 15 minutes on this. I wanted to make a response because Doshi said what she said. As I said before, black men don't care about Doshi's sexuality. Black straight men in particular do not care about Doshi's sexuality. Y'all gotta stop giving women passes for saying sexist, misandrist stuff and be like, no, I mean, she wasn't being, it's you. You're the one who's taking it like that. No, she said what she said. Huh? She said what she said. She said it how she meant it, and we took it that way. Huh? And we took it that way. Rightfully so. And so you have a number of women, as KMS says right here, these hoes stay lying. They stay lying. Huh? Because when we present them with these type of guys that they claim that they're looking for, that includes some in your own comment section, Miss Khadijah, They're not going. They're not, because of the way their femininity works. I've mentioned this a couple of times. The way these women femininity works is that they cannot be with a man that they see as weak, and they think bending over for another dude is weak. And Mr. Z don't know how much he disagrees, but um they see that as weak. They see that as you doing the same thing they doing. So why would they be with you? Goddamn, see, huh? Oh man, telescope. I am even gonna read that out loud. I did not know that, by the way. I did not know that. I knew about his sexuality. I didn't know about that though. Jesus, man, y'all be doing too much. God, y'all be doing too much. Bro, we get it. He still got a couple of dope songs. Mr. Z got on his playlist. Yeah, it's like Luther. We all know what Luther was on. Mr. Z still gonna play Luther at the wedding, right? We don't care nothing about that. Y'all just be doing too much, man. Jeez, y'all be doing too much. We don't care. Especially if you're an artist, I promise you, the straight and black men that listen to Doechii that knew about her sexuality don't care. We do not care. But once you start taking jabs, and then we all gotta pretend like you're not taking jabs, huh? Oh man. Oh man. And better use says the equation is D equals D. Written fully, peen equals Dusty. Dick equals Dusty. I'll just say Dick equals Dusty. Look. And that's fine, ladies. Mr. Z already sees the number. There are more black women that are in same-sex loving situations than black men. There are more black women that are willing to engage in same-sex loving relations than black men. So y'all go ahead and do that then. If black men are dusty, huh? If black men are not on the level, shout out to all the women who say black men are not on the level, then I would suggest, Mr. Z would suggest that y'all engage in same-sex loving relationships. You get real comfortable with your rose toy, or you go become the sexual plaything for some non-black man that you hope will marry you one day, right? If dick is dusty, then fine. As we were saying the other day, your hyper independence, fine. Shout out to all the women who are crying themselves to sleep at night, pretending like they're not, and then we all gotta act like we don't believe. We all have to act like we believe you when you say you're good being single. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's a good phrase. And Pastor OG says bisexual is a loose term for I tried a bunch of stuff under a neat, clean umbrella term, and that's okay. And if the women want to engage in that, that's okay. And if there are men who are willing to accept him as he's not, then that's okay. But Miss Khadijah, this is what Mr. Z is saying. Find me the women, black women in particular, but quite frankly, women who, if presented with the equivalent man, a man who is bisexual, or as Mr. Z says, non-binary, pansexual, gender bending, gender fluid, huh? Experimental with his sexuality. Find me the man who is open about that, and let's see how many women will be disgusted by that. Women in any other situation would give him a chance that would not give him a chance after finding that out. Manhood is held to a different standard, and it's not just men holding men to that standard. It's women also. It's the masses and the majority of women. Wait for it, for it, rightfully so. The issue that the black manosphere has is the hypocrisy of it all, the fair exchange of it all. The white racists putting the thumb on the scales for the liars and the cheats of it all, goddamn see. Huh? The women are allowed to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of it all. Someone said it earlier too, right? Let me read this one now. And KMS says, seriously, to quote Grinch, I think black women want to be left alone, but are afraid to say it because they don't want to carry really being alone. Sorry, Z, I can't hide my apathy anymore. It's stupid. No, I think you're right. I think black women might be the most nihilistic group of people in America. I think black men might be a bit more apathetic, black women more so nihilistic. And for them, it's I ain't gonna be the white woman. Y'all ain't gonna treat me like the white woman. Then damn it to hell. Then screw it. I give up. And giving up doesn't look like throwing your hands up per se. It means I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do because I don't need to follow no rules or regulations because it's not gonna afford me the white womanhood that I covet. The white womanhood that I want, y'all ain't gonna give it to me. There's no earning my way into it. There's no beautifying my way into it. There's no wealthing my way into it. Then to hell with everything. Screw your rules. Huh? When you see the sisters walking around here with the neon green highlighter weave, the septum ring, the 8, 10, 12 piercings, a zillion tattoos. When you see the sisters that are 300 plus pounds, matty, disgusting weave, huh? Vocabulary like a sailor. What do you think that is? That's damn your rules. Damn your rules because nothing I do will allow for me to become a white woman. And I want to be clear, black men are not asking for black women to be white women. Huh? Black men are not. Ah, wait, Z, you forgot. Black women don't care what black men are asking for. You right. You right. You're right. Oops, forgot. Sorry. Huh? So if black women want to be left alone, then I would modify that a little bit, KMS. Black women say they want to be left alone until they actually have to deal with the weight of actually being left alone. I think they want that, but they don't actually want that. Huh? I think they want that, but they don't actually want that. And that's something to consider. It's like a teenager and you think you grown, but you're not. Huh? If I put that weight on you, you're going to collapse. I mean, we're watching literally, Mr. Z has the article, right? Of the black women who are kinless. Rising number of kinless black women. Single and childless black and Latina women, namely black women, have the least amount of wealth in America. I would argue, even though the masses of black women don't know those stats, they don't know about those articles, they don't know these things, I would argue they feel it on a day-to-day when you look around the hood and it's a few men around, it's a bunch of single baby mamas, huh? Aimless children, aimless women. That's the cost of your independence. So yes, you'll have, well, Khadijah comes from, I think her parents are still married. So Khadijah comes from a nuclear family. If I'm not mistaken, Kim Foster's parents are still married, if I'm not mistaken. Huh? So there you go. So these women come from these situations. They may or may not choose to live a different life. And then they push to other women their hyper independence, their freedom and liberation, quote unquote liberation. And black men hear it, and black men are like, bet, look, ladies, dear black women, dear Khadijah, if y'all want y'all independence, you said hyper independence, we go make you eat every single bit of every single letter in that word, hyper independence, those words. You gonna eat every bit of it. Huh? And deal with the consequences. Huh? And once again, KMS, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And where's the other? Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, that was it. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, I'm not gonna spend too long. That's the second time. Look, better use counting, Z. Better use counting. Um, I listened to this. I wasn't so enraged outside of the one time when she said liberation. When she said liberation, Mr. Z gave the biggest sigh and roll eyes ever. It's like, God, black women in this word liberation. Jesus Christ. Let it go. Let it go. This word liberation. But all somebody has to say is the word liberation, and Mr. Z is back, right? Right? And Shrell says, let me read this. Give me a second. And Shrell says, eat the cakes, anime. No, they eating the cake. They eating. They definitely that's one thing they definitely doing, right? This we know, huh? Shout out to all the black women who like to threaten black men with maybe y'all should engage in same-sex loving relationships. Actually, ma'am.
Some of you men are going to have to settle. You're going to have to settle for dating each other and marrying each other and pleasing each other, because women are not putting up with your bullshit anymore. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of women don't want to get married. It's not really a lot of women's end goal anymore. Y'all don't even know how to be good boyfriends, let alone good husbands. A lot of women don't want to get pregnant and have babies. But you're going to have to start doing something. Because like I said, women don't care. Would you gonna force a woman to be in a relationship with you?
And we're gonna make you mean that, ma'am. You and other women like you, we're going to make y'all mean that. And when Mr. Z says this, because I always got to clarify, just in case one of these folks are listening, the vast majority of black men, young black men, do not listen to the black manosphere. They're not waking up in the morning saying, I'm gonna make black women mean it out of spite. No, your words influence their actions. They hear you speaking like this and they move accordingly. They hear how spiteful you are and they move accordingly. They hear how sexist you are and they move accordingly. They hear how you in glee try to regulate them or relegate, better yet, them to same-sex loving relationships because you think black women's vagina is the only vagina they have access to, and these young men move accordingly. So when Mr. Z says we're gonna make you mean that, yes, black men, young black men are going to make you, ma'am. Maybe not you individually. When I say you, I mean black women. We are going to make you mean that. Wait, Z, we already making you mean that. Single and childless black women have the least amount of wealth in America. Goddamn. Huh? The largest rate of same-sex loving women or people in America are black women, bolstered mainly by their bisexuality, because men ain't choosing. That's white men, that's black men, that's like Latino men, Asian men, they're not choosing. Huh? Oh boy. We are going to make you mean that, ma'am. All that talk. Huh? And y'all gives you a second, actually. Y'all gives you a And we're back. But yeah, so let me see who said what. Indigo says, and y'all know how to be good wives. We're talking about a few generations that have contempt for the idea of being a quote unquote good wife. They hate being judged by that being a consideration. They despise that. Just the notion, just you say you need, Indigo, you need to be smited. Off with his head. Just the idea of a man saying, would you be a good wife? Oh, tarred and feathered, sir. Huh? Tarred and feathered. They hate the idea that men still judge these things, and you're not going to get us to stop. What you might possibly kind of already have is men not saying it out loud. That's the best you're going to get. Shout out to all the ladies who think we still don't care about these things and consider these things. What you will get, ma'am, are men not saying it out loud. There you go. Your feelings are spared. Huh? There you go. Huh? Black women should be the face of this. And Indigo says, give me liberty or give me death. Black women should be the face of this. Because we know white men spew it all the time, but do white men mean it as much as black women do? Goddamn. Huh? We know white men spew this all the time. That's a good debate. Do black women mean give me liberty or give me death more than who says this and who believes it more? Right? Black women want their negative liberty. They want their what they see as freedom and liberation. They want their negative liberty, and black men said, fine, you can have it. And now they sounded like this.
So I need to talk to y'all about something. I recently went to an event and there were about 1,000 people there. And of the couples that were there, about 95% of them were black men with non-black women. The person leading the event was a black man that was married to a white woman. I'd be lying if I said that seeing all of this at the same time was not triggering. This is pretty much what the dating scene looks like overall in LA. Here are 4 other observations that I picked up on since moving to LA. 1, it's not equal. It's not like I'm seeing a bunch of black women dating outside their race. In fact, I'm barely seeing black women dating at all. 2, it's gotten so bad that at this point, whenever I do see a black man that's single, the first thing that I'm asking myself is, I wonder if he dates black women. 3, within the past couple months, I've had conversations with multiple black women that actually want to leave LA. Not because of the economy, not because they aren't flourishing in their careers, but simply because they feel like there's no love for them in LA. The fact that I know so many beautiful, talented, compassionate, evolved black women that are all feeling the same way makes no sense to me. And lastly, when you don't see yourself reflected in a space, you feel like you don't exist. As a black woman myself, I can tell you honestly, when it comes to the romantic space, I have never felt more invisible than I do living in LA?
Sorry, ma'am. Not so. Sorry, ma'am. Unfortunately, women like you don't get other women in line, and y'all allow for the dochis of the world to say straight men are a red flag, and y'all clap it up for them. While women like you may sit in silence, maybe you don't agree, but you don't challenge it. And well, the men of LA, namely black men, right? The men of LA, namely black men, have something to say.
Them closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and don't nobody want to hear it, but it's like this, the South got something to say. That's all I got to say.
Huh? And through action, they're showing you what they have to say. Through action. They may not be doing too much talking, but through action. Huh? Y'all wanted y'all independence, y'all quote unquote liberation, as Khadijah said. As other black women say, you want your liberation, and black men in LA, it is, you're watching that trend spread around America, spread around the country. They're saying you can have your liberation. All the way, you're going to eat every bit of that liberation. Huh? Right? And Vegas says, as a black man from LA, yeah, they can't compete out there. Hey. Huh? Man. Distro says evolved. Yeah, she did say evolved. Right? All these things that women engage in. Oh, I seek therapy, and I went to therapy, and I'm evolved, and I care about these things, and I've worked on myself, and I'm on my healing journey. And ma'am, are you kind? Can you cook? Can you give good head? If you are not any one of these things, maybe a few more, ma'am, the therapy really ain't doing much for you. Goddamn, Z. Oh, you wasn't supposed to say that out loud, Z. Not concerning any man worth a damn. Huh? Oh, man. So these women could be quote unquote evolved, right? They could Earth. That's hysterical. Earth said Charizard is evolved. Hysterical. Pokemon reference for all of you that don't know. These women could be as evolved as they want to be. You know who's going to be the judge of that? Ooh, Z. Don't tell her, Z. Men are going to be the judge of that. Dear ma'am, whoever you are in LA, women could be as evolved as they want to be. Men will be the judge of that. You know how we know? The wedding ring. That's how we know. Huh? Huh. Exactly. KMS says, is that ass fat? Are you agreeable? Are you childless? These are the prerequisites. Huh? Indigo, I'm not gonna read that out loud. I'm not gonna read that out loud because I'm gonna be jabbing at that lady again. Huh? That's hysterical. Shout out to Indigo Flow. Huh? Shout out to Better You. When Better You said that, oh, that was hysterical. We said Bowser because she said she said her man told her, you know how they see you? They see you as the final boss. And she was like, oh, so I'm Bowser? And she tried to be like, oh, so they're scared of me, or so they see me as a final boss? Lady, don't flatter yourself. You're an annoying troll. You're a homely looking annoying troll that attended Ivy League, so you know how to speak well. Miss us with the BS. You sassy, annoying troll. You're no one's final boss. You fake ass wanna be Oprah. Huh? Shout out to Better You. When Better You came up with that, I was like, oh man. Right? Chelsea, because she a boss. Ross. Huh? Uh, Shout out to her, man. That man is doing the Lord's work. That man is doing the Lord's work. Okay? Yeah. So on that note, look, it's an hour and a half. I can't let Better You get me on the 5 times Mr. Z says will end out. Look, I can't let Better You be right about this. I can't let it happen. Can't let it happen. Right. So shout out to Khadijah. It was only 15 minutes long. Mr. Z took damn near an hour and a half to respond. We didn't take this an hour and a half. Mr. Z was talking about other stuff too. So as I said, that non-binary stuff. As a matter of fact, let's say the title name again. Y'all gives you a second. Let's make sure we get that. Oh yeah, so it was straight man or red flag question mark, right? Yeah. Look. Dr. Ron O'Neill, you're late, sir. You're late. You're late for class. And Dr. Ron O'Neill in the building. Y'all shout out Dr. Ron O'Neill. Dr. Ron O'Neill in the building. I am super humbled. Dr. Ron O'Neill, you literally look. You an hour and a half late for class, sir. Shout out to Dr. Ron O'Neill, right? Dr. Ron O'Neill, you would have kicked me out of class for being this late. I wouldn't even be let in. As a matter of fact, the class already ended. What we talking about? The class would have already ended a long time ago. Dr. Ron O'Neill would have locked the door on my ass. Mrs. Z, you know the little window. Your Mrs. Z would have been looking through the window like, wait, you're not gonna let me in? Oh man. So on that note, but Doc, check the links in the description box. I would like to know what you think about that. It's you might actually cover that. I might actually have to go on your channel and check it out. But it's what Khadijah and Bo. I think she was born here, and then she moved up to Canada a little bit later on in her life. But Khadijah and Bo, content creator, part of Black Bread Tube, she covered the Doechii thing. She bought it back up, even though that story's like what 3 weeks old now or something like that. She bought it back up, and she kind of reiterated and kind of went into more detail of what Doechii said. And you know, Dr. Ron O'Neill is a South Florida native, just like Z is, so Dade County 305, right? And so and by the way, why Mr. Z said that's because Doechii is also from Florida. So she bought that up and she spoke about essentially straight men are a red flag. She went into detail about it, and my pushback and challenge to her is fine for you and a handful of other similarly minded women, namely Black women, fine. But the masses of women, namely Black women, are not going for any gender bending, gender fluid, pansexual, bisexual, sexually experimentative, or experimental, better yet, experimental. Where Mr. Z be coming up with these words from? Experimental men. Black women are not signing up for that. Definitely not from no Black men. From a upperly mobile white man, because they'll try to get they ducats and they mixed kids. Yeah, maybe, possibly. But from a Black man, Black women ain't going. And we all know that. Right? And we all know that. So that was my rebuttal to her. It took me about an hour and some odd to get through it because, you know, Mr. Z be long-winded as hell. But yeah. Right? So, okay, y'all. This is time number 4. Look, I can't make it time number 5. Somewhere It's better you laughing his ass off because Mr. Z about to make it top number 5. I gotta make it top number 4. We gotta end out before our 5th attempt, y'all. Oh man. And Saint Cyr says, "Goddamn, look, but I didn't actually start the ending process yet, so we still on top number 4." And Saint Cyr says, "There's another side to that, Z. They also say men that end up with white women are more fluid with their sexuality." Laughing my butt off. These people are unreal. I don't see y'all not used to debating somebody like Z, because if Mr. Z wanted to pin you on that, I could flip that and sound real insulting. Because you don't realize what you're insinuating by saying that about black femininity or lack thereof. Huh? See, if Mr. Z wanted to be that person, that guy, there's a way to flip that and be real insulting. Huh? Real insulting about black women and lack of femininity. Because what you think you saying, you may not be. See, Saint Sarah, see, this is the thing. We know what's really fueling this. And we could get petty and we could play in the mud, right? But dear black women, you don't get to hold black men hostage in the black community with your asshole ways. If you want to be an asshole, if you want to be quote unquote liberated and free, and right? If now what we're hearing from the fringes, because let's be very clear, what Khadijah talking about is fringe still. Even for black women, that's still fringe. If now we're talking about on the fringes, men that experiment with their sexuality, and if that's where y'all are with it, then black men, particularly young black men under the age of about 35, oh, they got choices and options. They're not held hostage. And this is something that Mr. Z has been grappling with for a little while now. Black people, you no longer are forced together. If you want a black community, you're going to have to fight for it, and you're going to have to bolster that up because you want to. No one is held hostage here anymore. Dear black women, that's something you're going to have to come to terms with. Black men have come to terms with it, ooh, goddamn, because black women made black men come to terms with it, ooh, goddamn, Z. Huh? Black women have made black men come to terms with it. Black women are going to have to come to terms with this. Either you fight for a black community that includes black men rulership, goddamn, or you go out there in the wilderness and see what you can make shake, what you can make work for you. Huh? So, yeah, Saint Cyr, if what they're implying, suggesting, or just overtly saying is that you kind of on the sexual spectrum somehow you closer to the rainbow flag side of things, if you're dating particularly white women but non-black women, I mean, there's something to say about what you're also implying about dating black women. Do you really want to go there? Do you really want to go there? Because if white and non-black women are seen as softer, that automatically means that black men are seen as what? Huh? It's not. This is not wise. Y'all got to be careful about the things you say and what you imply. Mr. Z too. The things you say and what you imply when you speak in and when you're debating and when you're trying to say something spiteful towards another person, the opposite party, another group of people. Because if the person is witty enough and quick enough, what they could say back to you because of what you said initially, yeah, y'all not good debaters. Y'all not. Y'all not. Y'all better leave that alone. Huh? For real. And Cam S says, God damn it. We still on top number 4, better you. But Mr. Z gotta go because we gotta watch something with Missy. And Cam S says, why the F are straight women listening to alt women about men? Because it's all about the energy. It's not about what they actually truly believe. It's all about getting black men back. Someone who's articulating something spiteful or mean or funny about black men, right? So you had a bunch of black women who thought that was funny and they defended I want to say Sauchi, but sorry Sauchi, but Dochi, right? And they defended it. But if you were to present them with those type of non-binary, gender bending, gender fluid, pansexual, bisexual black men in particular, those women were not going. The Johnny would be dry, desert, Sahara. Huh? They're not going. But they'll laugh and yuck it up. Huh, there's a pun in there. They'll yuck it up for Dochi saying what she said because in their mind, hey, we're getting everything is a point for them. And that's another point on the board for us, getting black men back because they didn't make us rich white women. Loser. Huh? So of course they sign up for that. Oh yeah, they're gonna sign. Look, don't I never. No, let me not say never. Let's rewind. Z, you went in too hot. You went too hot. You went too hot. I rarely. There we go. That's right. I am rarely surprised at what black women will sign up for to spite men in general, black men specifically. What women, to be honest with you, in the West, American women more specifically, black women even more specifically, what they'll sign up for just to spite men, just to get their 5 chuckles in. I am extremely rarely surprised. And here's the kicker. Not that they actually even mean it, just to get their chuckles in because it's laughing at men's expense. And you even saw this, even though we think this is a smug asshole because he is, you saw it when Dr. Scott Galloway was on Bill Maher, and he was speaking about Porsche polygamy, with how many women huddle up on the top 10% of men. He spoke about how, all of these things, and the women started laughing and clapping it up. And Bill Maher kind of paused. The entire audience was like, "Yo, how's this funny?" They didn't understand what Mr. Z is saying. These people, women, and that obviously his audience is probably primarily white women. They thought it was so funny because for them it's all about a point. It's a point to, oh, we got another point on the board. Get it back at men. It's funny. They're not doing good in school. Right? Where they don't even appreciate what this means for them and their actual individual lives. Because they're so busy, they're so desirous at spiting men, getting men back, laughing in men's faces, laughing at men's misfortune. They don't think, and this is women writ large, that women and men are attached by the hip. Men's misfortune is automatically women's misfortune. Exactly what it is, KMS. Myopic as hell. Huh? They don't appreciate that men's misfortune is automatically women's misfortune. So you had an audience of people where Bill Maher, smug ass Bill Maher, had to look at them like, what the hell? Yeah. Now this one we gotta agree with KMS on this one. That's stupid and moronic. Short-sighted too, right? Yeah. Dense. Yeah, that too. Right. So on that note, y'all, look, with this overtime is brought to you by Dr. Ronald Neal, right? But yeah, I had to bring that up. Flick said, please be that person, Z. Look, I'm just saying, if you, god damn it, we hit 5 times. No, we didn't. No, we didn't, because I didn't actually officially start the ending process for 4. Look, better you, I still ain't start 5 yet. There we go. But Inflix, I mean, if you're saying that it's soft of black men to pursue non-black women, on the human scale of softer to more coarse and difficult and quote unquote hard body, no pun, um, women are who we tend to imagine as softer, right? And we tend to imagine men as harder. So if you're saying that black men are softer, or you're implying that or suggesting that black men are softer for dating out or pursuing non-black women, then what are you automatically saying about black women? What are black women in that case? Huh? Y'all know how easy it was for me? Once I read the comment, I already had the rebuttal for it. Huh? I wasn't even the full sentence in, I had the rebuttal. Huh. So, okay, now we gotta actually end out. Um, so we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Shout out to Dr. Ronald Neal. It's always a pleasure. Um, yeah. So this was our response to Khadijah. It took damn near, oh God, we're almost on 2 hours. Yeah, look, black women ain't going. Nice try. We heard what Dochi said. Yeah, black women clapped it up, other women clapped it up, but they're not going for real. If you put their back to the wall, they ain't going. They're not. Decon Brown says black women are studs. Nah, bro, even more than that. Nah, you stopped early. Nah, you being nice. Nope, you being nice, right? We could take it the next step. So on that note, Mr. Z in right there. Mr. Z still being Mr. Z is being nice too, by the way, Decon. So yeah. Um, so we'll pause right there, y'all. And y'all have a great rest of y'all night. And yeah, Mr. Z out.